Hello everyone, Blaze here, welcome to the January 2015 anime pickups. New year, same stuff, same idea. More anime being brought into the collection, a little bit more than I had originally planned for the month. I managed to get a couple of things quite cheap, which are at the end of this video. But first up we have the Eccentric family from NIS America. Really happy to finally own this in the collection. It's one of the greatest shows that I've personally watched ever, in my opinion. It's based on a novel by Tomohiko Morimo. It was directed by Masayuki Yoshihara, and it's a PA work show from summer 2013. It's set in Kyoto. It's about a family of tanuki who are basically shape-shifting dogs, to put it bluntly. And the main star is the middle brother, whose name is Yasuburo, who's basically trying to find out a bit more about his father's untimely death, as he was eaten in a tanuki stew by a set of humans who are part of a Friday Fellows Club, it's called. And basically at the end of every year, as a traditional year-end bash, they have a tanuki stew. It also has a set of tengus, which are kind of like these mystical raven things. They're also shape-shifting as well, just like the tanukis. And Yasuburo gets dangerously close to the Friday Fellows Club, and a particular tengu in a girl called Benton, who is very mystical, and he's very fascinated with her, but she's also heavily associated with the Friday Fellows. And it's basically like a very warm, fun drama with some insanely good dialogue, amazing design. Some of the action scenes in this, of which there are a few, despite its tone of the show, which is very a dialogue-driven drama. The action that is here is really fantastical. Some really great stuff, especially towards the end. There's a fantastic scene with a carriage, and that becomes a very awesome bit of animation to watch. But and it's just full of really lovable characters. And you get down to, like, say, you have a brother who spends his days as a frog down a well as part of his repentance for things that he'd done in the past. You have a pool shark gender-bending mother who is scared of thunder and stuff like this, and she's one of the best mothers I've ever seen in anime. She's a really great character. And then you got stuff like Yasuburo's former fiancée, I think she was, who's heard but never seen, and just stuff like that. And it's just a fantastically well-driven drama, and I highly recommend everyone go out and buy this, or at least see it on Crunchyroll. Following that, we have A Channel. This is a Sentai Filmworks Blu-ray upgrade for me. I used to own the DVD. I was able to get this at a really good deal thanks to Amazon charging a really low price for it for some reason. So anyway, yeah, A Channel, Spring 2011 show done by Studio Gokumi and adapted from a manga by Kuroda Bibi or something. And it's basically another moe show, but it was pretty good. I did enjoy it when I first watched it, and I'm certainly happy enough to get a high definition upgrade. The characters are sort of like Azumanga Daioh / K-On!, so it's very typical of the genre. Because you got like Toro or Turu or something. She's like super protective and sort of violent in a way, but in a moe way, I guess, with really overlong sleeves and stuff. It's pretty funny. We got Rune or something, Rune Momoki, who's kind of like Osaka from Azumanga Daioh. You got Yuko, who's pretty much a combination of Sakaki from Azumanga Daioh and Mio from K-On! And then Nagasa, the one with the glasses, is basically a combination of Koyumi and a little bit of Ritsu. So it's really typical of the genre, but it's a little bit more laid back than... Actually, I don't know. It's more laid back than K-On!, more on par with Azumanga Daioh. But it's if you like either of those shows, I would recommend watching A Channel. I don't know if it really competes with those shows. I think I liked it more than K-On!, but that's just me. But I didn't like it as much as Azumanga Daioh, but it's good, so it's worth seeing. Next up, I finally now have the second half of Golden Time. This took a long time in coming, honestly. 6 months ago, I picked up the first half. And yeah, it was a pretty long wait between the two, but I finally have both, so hopefully I'll be able to watch this soon. This is a full 2013 series based off a light novel franchise, romantic comedy. This is a sub-only Blu-ray, unfortunately. Many people were surprised this was sub-only. It felt like a shoe-in for a dub, but turns out that wasn't the case. But given it was sub-only is one of the reasons why we got it so quickly, because the second half of the show only finished in March 2014, and we got the first half in like September 2014, so it was a pretty quick turnaround. But basically, a series about a guy who goes to a private law school in Tokyo, and upon the opening ceremony, or whatever those are called, opening ceremony, he ends up bumping into a childhood friend who he had once promised to marry, and it turns out they're both attending the same private law school in Tokyo. And yeah, basically a romance comedy, less shoujo. I think it's more aimed at guys, but yeah, it just seems like it's a nice change to get something where the characters are a bit older, like young adults rather than teenagers at high school. So yeah, I look forward to watching it. I hope it's good. It got good. People were talking about it a lot when it was on. So okay, next we have Diabolical Lovers. I would love to defend this purchase, but I don't think I can. I'll try, but I don't think I can. Basically, I put this in my Right Stuff order basket on as a pre-order in order to allow myself to buy some of the stuff in the Right Stuff holiday sale, which I didn't have the money for right that second. Put in the pre-order for this to come out in February, and I thought then I'll, basically I won't have to pay for any of that stuff till February or January at the earliest. So yeah, that's basically what I did, but I might have picked this up anyway. Honestly, I feel so bad about it because I've seen a few episodes of it and it's absolutely terrible. There's no reason for me to own this, but it's about vampires, and the art design and the character design especially is really, really, really nice. But basically about a girl called Yui who inherits 6 sadistic, bloodthirsty vampires who treat her like absolute garbage. One of those reverse harems where, yeah, basically the female is treated like shit by her male harem members, I guess, or not. I hate. You can't really call it a harem, but whatever. Yeah, I know Diabolical Lovers. Less said about that, the better. So here is one of those things that was part of that pre-order that I got in the holiday sale, basically, with Diabolical Lovers and the thing after this. This is Bludgeoning Angel Dokoro-chan. I never thought I'd be able to own this, or at least not this particular edition. This is the dubbed re-release, including all 6 of the OVA episodes that encompassed Season 1 and Season 2. It's a 2005 series, sorry, based on a light novel. But basically it's about a male student called Kusakabe who basically invents immortality, or he does so in the future. He will do in the future. He will invent immortality to stop women from aging beyond the age of 12. God is rightly offended by this, and basically sends an angel called Dokuro-chan to kill him in order to stop that from happening. Dokuro-chan decides to instead keep an eye on him and make sure he doesn't invent this technology. And basically in the meantime she occasionally goes crazy, kills him with her bat only to revive him seconds later, and it's basically a hyper-violent, surreal, quick-fire comedy with some really just like insane visuals and gags and stuff, and it has blood levels that rival Elfin Lied, etc., while all keeping like a Moe Lucky Star Azumanga Daioh type art style. It just seemed like something that would be really super awesome to watch, and this edition had been out of print for a while and was going for quite crazy collector prices, and then all of a sudden, just like Puss in Boots was, Right Stuff found some in their warehouse and put them up for $12 each, so I was really happy to get a copy of it finally. Okay, so the other thing I got in the Right Stuff holiday sale was something I've been wanting to pick up solely because of the value for money in terms of the episode count, because these sets were $9 each, and this is the complete series of Wedding Beach. It's basically a Sailor Moon ripoff, or riding on the coattails of Sailor Moon. Came out in 1995 to 1996, 51 episodes plus 4 OVAs, and yeah, it's basically just a magical girl series. So basically there's an angel world, a human world, a devil world. Evil Devil Queen wants to destroy the angel world. The angel queen summons another angel, Limone or whatever, and Limone turns these 3 high school girls into goddesses, Angel Lily, Angel Daisy, and Wedding Peach, and in order to defeat the evil queen, and they must gather all 4 pieces of this thing that is literally called the Sacred 4 somethings. That's literally what it's called. Um, so yeah, it's basically a Sailor Moon ripoff. But I solely bought this because I mean this isn't the sort of series I'm dying to see or anything. But for $18, I got a 54 episode series, 51 plus the OVA. So to me that's a great deal. Like $18 is not a lot of money in UK money. It's like £12. That is a fantastic return in terms of hours to price. So hopefully that will pay off if I ever get around to watching it. Eventually, when I do, it will be decent enough that it was certainly worth that price at least. Okay, so next up we've got a win named Amnesia. This is a really awesome movie that Central Park Media put out. It basically came out back in December 22nd, 1990, so on my birthday in the year 1990. It was animated by Madhouse, that's a pretty big deal. And it was directed by Kazuo Yamazaki, who is one of the. He's a pretty awesome director. He's done some great stuff. He did Maze on Koku, my beloved Maze on Koku. He also did the golden years of Urusei Yatsura when that show was really in its prime. He did Five Star Stories, Slayer's motion picture, and the OVA Please Save My Earth. So he's a pretty renowned director. He also directed this film. It's a pretty cool film. It's a sci-fi movie, and the idea is basically that a wind basically goes across the Earth, and everyone on the Earth loses their memory about everything. They forget how to speak, they forget to use any appliances or anything like that. It's just completely gone back to the prehistoric age. But obviously the environment is still pretty technological based. And it stars a man named Wataru. It's set in America, and he basically ends up eventually learning how to do things and function once again thanks to a chance meeting. And it basically a road trip movie across America he ends up meeting someone else along the way, as a girl called Sophie. And yeah, it's basically a road trip movie as they look upon the devastation that is the human race after this traumatic event. And it has a pretty good ending. It's a pretty good movie all around. Not amazing, but solid sci-fi. Right, next we have a namesake, at least in English anyway. Mirage of Blaze. This is a Madhouse 13 episode series plus the 3 episode OVA that came out like in 2002. It's based off a really long running light novel series. It is a Shonen Ai series, at least in tone. I don't believe it's explicitly so, but it is at least in tone, etc. But I watched a series or an OVA last year called Vassalord, which was also a Shonen Ai, and that was like a vampire thing, but that was also in tone rather than explicitly so, and it was really really cool. And this sort of reminded me of it. This also has some really awesome character designs, similar to that of Clamp's designs for X and Tokyo Babylon and stuff like that. Like, and overall it just seems like a really cool supernatural fantasy action-ish series. It's supposed to be quite melodramatic, but yeah, basically about this guy who in a former life was like some great lord, like god type thing, I think, or maybe not a god level, but he was pretty powerful, and was fighting off demons or etc. of the underworld or feudal underworld. It's supposed to be like something to do with like dead samurai who want to come back to life and fight back in modern times, and this is what he did in a former life, and he's not aware of it, but he ends up being told of it or something like that, and it all comes together into a big supernatural. You kind of get the idea, right? And yeah, I mean, I hope I like it. Yeah, Mirage of Blaze. Okay, so Blueseed. I picked this up for the pricely sum of $4. Ignore my Blu-ray player. It flashes on and off on the menus. It doesn't do it while it's playing. It's annoying as hell, but it's just the way it's just the way things are. But anyway, Blueseed, a mid-90s series done by Production IG. I think it was done in like 1994, so just before Production IG became megastars for their Ghost in the Shell movie, obviously. But yeah, basically starring a girl called Momiji, who basically finds out that she's a descendant of the Kushinada family, and because of that bloodline, she's the ideal candidate to go and take down these demonic plant-like monsters that are threatening Japan. So yeah, basically just a straight-up bombastic action sci-fi series. It hasn't got the greatest of reviews, but you know, I mean, I like mid-90s animation. I mean, I like pre-digital animation, so I'm hoping that I'll get something out of it. I quite like the designs of shows like Zenki Saga in terms of their demonic designs from that era, and I've seen screenshots for this, and they seem to reflect that quite a bit, so that's kind of cool. And it has sort of like elements of cyberpunk design and stuff, and in the end, I'm not expecting it to be a great and amazing show. The reviews out there tend to reflect that it isn't going to be that. But I expect it to it might be average, but as long as it has enough action, enough fun, enough cheese in it, I will enjoy it all the merrier. You know, I really will enjoy it. So, yeah, hopefully that's the case anyway. Okay, so Sadomitsu the Destroyer. This is a Media Blasters release complete collection. It's quite difficult to find, but I was able to track it down at a really cool price of only about $15, so I was really happy about it. 2001 10 episode series done by Studio Dean. I'm not really expecting a lot from it, but apparently it's one of those shows where it's actually kind of good, and a lot of people don't really know a lot about it. But yeah, at only 10 episodes, I wouldn't normally have expected a lot from it. But yeah, starring a guy called Sadomitsu, who's basically a high school delinquent who, when he puts on like this motorcycle-esque helmet, turns into this masked hero. Much in the same vein as a Kamen Rider or whatever, and basically goes and punches a bunch of aliens into next week, who are currently on the verge of invading planet Earth. A bunch of alien convicts, so they're all like prisoners or whatever. And yeah, it's supposed to have some fun hijinks, comedy in it, some really awesome action, and yeah, from a lot of people seem to think this is actually a sort of decent show, like unexpectedly so. So I'm hoping I'll enjoy it. I mean, it's kind of my enjoyment of this show kind of rides on the personality of the main character Sadomitsu. If he is in the least bit funny, if he has a loser trait, which I always like with the Yonezukas and stuff, if he has that sort of style of character, I think I will find this an enjoyable watch also. So yeah, Sadomitsu the Destroyer. I hope for good things. We'll wait and see, I guess. And last but certainly not least, we have Golgo 13 Queen Bee. This is the 1998 movie. It's like a 60-minute movie or something, done by Tezuka Productions of all studios, which is a vastly different project for them to be involved in. But yeah, this came out like 15 years after the first movie adaptation of Golgo 13, which, at least anime-wise, which was The Professional, that came out in like 1983, so it came out considerably later. But yeah, based on the manga by Kazuo Koike, who's basically famous for like Lady Snowblood, Crying Freeman, Madball 34, Golgo 13, obviously like a very certain style. He also did Lone Wolf and The Cub or whatever. But yeah, Golgo 13 is hired to take down a South American guerrilla army leader named Queen Bee, who just so happens to be a beautiful woman. Surprise, surprise. Golgo finds this job too easy, however, and decides to dig further into the history and possible connection between his target and his employer. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I like The Professional, despite its sleazy aspects. I like the craziness of the whole over-the-top structure of Golgo 13, basically. And yeah, it's a franchise I want to see all of. I plan to buy the 2008 TV series relatively soon, and yeah, that's Golgo 13 Queen Bee. That's everything I picked up for January. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you relatively soon, probably.